Jared Briggs Show. You guys, hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Today is Monday. It was a good weekend on our side. We just had something funny. The camera wouldn't turn on, so we've done a pre-show a couple of times because the camera didn't want to work. But I hope you guys had a great weekend. Selling fear, and that is in the news, in media, in everything that we look at. And it's easy to get caught up in. I've gotten caught up in it where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I don't want my show to be about that. I want to sell opportunity. I want to sell abundance. I want to sell excitement and expansion and growth and all of the good things. There's so much good going on in this world, and we can get caught up in the negativity of it, or we can be a part of the good in the solutions. And so that's the stuff that I want to talk about here. Today's topic that I thought about is more money won't solve your money problems. The reason why I thought about that is it just goes back to the basics. You know, one thing that I love, I'm a big sports person. I wouldn't say a big sports person, but I keep up with it. I keep up with what's going on in the NFL, college football, basketball, baseball. I like having conversations with it, but I'm not a freak about it either. I don't watch every game. Like last night, we watched the last couple of minutes of a football game. But one thing I do love is I love the lessons that sports teach us. And one thing about it is if you look at the greats. Now I'm talking about the people that set new records, whether you like them or not. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Tom Brady, all the baseball greats, everybody, like all of the greats out there. They were very, 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 very good at the basics. They were disciplined at the basics. You know, like Kobe Bryant, one thing that I'm inspired by him. Something interesting about Kobe Bryant is I was never a Kobe Bryant fan, and I started becoming a fan. And it was like 6 months after I did is when he got killed in the helicopter accident. And that was an interesting thing because that guy's mindset, his understanding, his work ethic, his ability to do the things, the simple things. And now you see videos all over online about him talking about how disciplined he was, how motivated he was towards the basics. I mean, he would come in and do the basics every single day. That's how he would warm up. Simple dribbles, simple crossovers, simple passing, simple moves, simple shooting, very short layups. Like, that's how he would warm up. But he was just like meticulous about the basics. That's inspiring. That is very inspiring because you think somebody at his level or any of the greats, you think at their level they would have some wild, crazy, complex thing. And it's not. I love this series on Netflix, The Starting Five. There's the quarterbacks, season 1, season 2. There's the NBA players, season 1, season 2, and even the golfers, the PGA and all those. What the heck is that called? Full Swing or something? It is amazing to watch all of those greats, you know, Tiger Woods and all these people. They go do the basic things every single day. Like they will putt a 5-foot putt hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And us here that golf a little bit, we'll sit here and be like, oh, I could make a 5-foot putt. Wow, a 5-foot putt over and over and over again. And then you get out on the course and you freaking miss one and you're like, oh gosh, dang, right? They are meticulous about the basics. And so I want to go back today and share, you know, more money won't solve your money problems because we got to become better stewards. We got to become better managers. We got to become better in our knowledge. We got to become better in our investments. We got to become better in our understanding of how it works and what it does. We've got to get better in all of those things. We think more money is going to solve the problem, and it maybe will for a time. But look at the people that win the lottery. Man, I couldn't think of lottery. Look at the people that win the lottery. What's the percentage of them that go bankrupt or go broke? You guys, they don't understand the basics. They didn't learn and develop the basics to earn and collect that money. Therefore, it's going to come, it's going to go as fast as it came, and sometimes even faster. And it's going to put them in an even worse financial position than it did before. Because if you only make $30,000 a year, you're only going to have $30,000 a year problems. But if you make $30,000 a year and then all of a sudden you got 25 million, now you're going to have $1 million problems. And when the millions is gone, you've got a really big problem. So more money isn't going to solve the problem. I've even said in one of my lives, like, if I threw $100,000 at your problems, how many of them would go away? I kind of retract on that, because they would go away for a moment. Those problems would go away for a moment, but they would come back, and they would come back with revenge, because we didn't develop into better skills, better practices, better management, better earning capabilities. We didn't. And so it's going to knock us right on our butt again. So more money won't solve your money problems, because you've got to become the person that understands those things. The next thing with that is, I was driving yesterday. I'm always thinking about these topics. My wife and I and my kids, we went and stayed with some family this weekend to visit with them, see them. They just accomplished some big things in their lives. And so we got to go spend some time with them, and it was really fun. And on the way back home, we drove through Park City, Utah, like on the freeway side of it, right? But you can see. And we had a quiet moment, and I was sitting there thinking about all these topics of money and the lives that I've been doing in these conversations and the things that I want to do and all of this. And I was just thinking about that. And if you're headed towards Wyoming, so if you're headed eastbound on the freeway, all over the hills, there's all these really cool houses that have been built. And so I was sitting there, I was thinking, as I was driving on the freeway, I was thinking about how many people are living in financial struggle. And then I look at those hillsides, and I'm like, man, there's hundreds of houses up there. And I guarantee it's not cheap. Like, I guarantee that ground is very expensive. And then to build a home there, I guarantee is very expensive. They're doing it somehow. Somehow they are doing it. Somehow they have increased their income. Somehow they've learned how money works. Somehow they've figured out leverage. And maybe they are living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe they are completely strung out with payments. And from the outside looking in, maybe it is not a good situation. That's up to our own interpretation. There's a lot of people out there, they have debt on everything, but they know how to earn so well that it'll never affect them. And so you can look at the positive side, or you can look at the negative. And I look at it from the side of a positive mindset, in the sense of, well, they figured something out. Because someone with low income is never going to get qualified to buy that land or build that house. They will not be able to show the financial stability to accomplish that. So they've figured something out. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, that's up to them. That is not my place. I get to make those decisions for myself, if I'm going to make the investment or if I'm not going to make the investment. But at the end of the day, I look at it from the perspective of, they figured something out. I remember when I wanted to buy, I wanted to buy a Ram 1500 for a long time, and I loved the limited package. There's just something about it I liked. Yeah, it's got the bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff, but I liked it. I liked the challenge. I liked the, could I become the person? And for years, that was on my vision board. I bet I had that truck on my vision board at least 3 years, if not more. And I would be driving. I had a Honda Accord. I bought a 2018 Honda Accord. It had cloth seats, but they were heated cloth seats, the nice display screen. So it wasn't the lowest package, but it wasn't the highest package, and I enjoyed that car. I love that car. I freaking am mad that I sold it, if you want to know the truth. But I would drive that car, and I would see people driving the truck that I desired. And I'm like, well, if they figured it out, why can't I? And I would, oh, man. We got a problem. Hold on. Fetch. All right, this is going to be an audio one. I would, the camera just shut off. Anyway, we're going to keep rolling, because you know what? Life freaking throws you lemons all the time. And I'm going to make some freaking lemonade right now, okay? the camera isn't working because I think we left it on and it got overheated, and we're going to make some lemonade out of the freaking camera not working. So here we go. I'd be driving, and here's something I did. I would go and test drive the truck that I wanted. And I would test drive it so I knew what it smelled like. I knew what it felt like. I knew what it drove like. I knew what the steering wheel. You guys, I could close my eyes right now, and I can remember it. I could remember driving it. I could remember how I felt. I remembered how it smelled. I remembered all of those things. And I would have moments where I'd be driving my car, and I wouldn't close my eyes because I'd be driving, but I could kind of zone out where I wasn't thinking about other stuff. I was thinking about the smell, the feel, all of that. And I would literally drive my car like I was driving my truck. I would use the shifter on the front and act like I was shifting it into park or drive. Like I would do, I know it's crazy, but I would visualize as much as I could. I share this with you because we are capable of anything. You see, more money won't solve your problems, but knowledge, belief, desire, a vision board, knowing what it is that you want, being specific with what it is that you want, all of those things will help you make more money. And when you make more money and you know what to do with the money, you solve all of your problems. That's why I share with you more money won't solve your problems. Because right now, if you don't know how to, at a very, very, very well-known standpoint, know how to manage what you have now, why would more money solve the problem? More money is just going to allow you to spend irresponsibly more money. I share all of those things with you in hopes that the things that I've listened to and the things that I've learned from that inspired me to get better, I hope this does too, to realize, holy crap, I am capable. I can achieve all these things. I know I can. X, Y, and Z, I need new knowledge. I need new information. I need a new system. I need to learn better management. I need to learn better marketing. I need to learn better relationship. I need to, whatever your problem is right now. And you get better at one, and then you get better at the next one, and then you get better at the next one, and then you get better at the next one, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And you're going to feel like it never ends. But that's because to accomplish the true vision you have for yourself is going to challenge everything that you know and who you are and how you do things in every way. And you just take one step at a time. I want you to think about driving in the fog or walking in the fog. When it's foggy, you can always see 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 yards in front of you, whatever it is. But if you just stayed put where you're at, you're only going to see the same distance. But if you take a step forward, now you can see a little bit further. And you take another step forward, and now you can see a little further. And now you get on a bicycle, and now the speed at which you can see increases. You were going 3 miles an hour walking. Now you're going 8 miles an hour on a bike. The speed at which you are seeing and improving is quicker. You see, that is how improvement works, is you're going to get better. I mean, think about a business. A business can only be so big with one person. But if you create some speed and hire another person, now you're accomplishing 2 things at the same time, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then it just compounds from there on. That's what it's like walking or driving or bicycle or airplane in the fog. You step forward in faith. You learn the next thing. You gain knowledge. You gain information and continue to progress forward every chance that you can. More money isn't going to solve your problem. Gaining new knowledge and information and a system and a process and a discipline and a management system will. We're going to move on to section 2. Section 2 is, I call it the money reset. This is what's going to solve your problem. If you have a money problem right now, you don't have enough money, you're spending, or you're out of money, or you're in debt, or you just have a ton of problems altogether, I want you to focus on this system right here. And I want you to download or buy or read or listen to the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon. It is an incredible read. The first step to understanding and making more money is you need to know your income. How much money are you collecting at a time? Do you get paid weekly, monthly, however you get paid? How much are you collecting every single time you get paid? That is step number one. You need to know your income. If you are married, you need to know both of your income. If you have other incomes, maybe you've got 4 streams of income right now, you need to put all of them into your financial system. The second step is to create a wealth creation plan, and this encompasses step number 1, because you're going to first know how much you're making, then you're going to figure out your fixed expenses, then you're going to figure out your variable expenses. Fixed expenses are the ones that stay the same every single month: rent, car payment, phone bill, internet. Those are examples of the things that stay the same. Variable expenses are the ones that change: gas, electricity, water, groceries, travel, eating out. All these things, they change from a month-to-month basis or day-to-day basis, however you do that. And then we're going to get specific with where all of your money is going. So now you know your income. Now you know your expenses. Now we're going to start categorizing everything extra. Okay? If you have a discretionary income of $600, discretionary means extra, we're going to start putting that money to work. We're going to start categorizing that money into a system, into goals, into plans, into strategies. If you have a desire to open up investment accounts, invest in crypto, invest in real estate, start a business, learn new knowledge, learn new skills, buy things that make your life more convenient or save time, whatever it is that you desire, we're going to start planning for those things. I don't believe in budgets because budgets are limiting. Budgets tell you what you can't do. I want to start creating a system that tells me what I can do because I planned for that. If I have a desire to go on a great vacation with my spouse, I'm going to plan for that. I'm going to create a subcategory within my bank account, and I'm going to start sticking $200 a month into there or whatever it needs to be. If I want to have money that I spend every month, my wife has money that she spends every month, we want to buy a house, start a business, whatever it is, we start planning and categorizing those things. I don't believe we need to live a one-dimensional life. I don't believe we need to live in scarcity. I don't believe we need our money to tell us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. I believe that with a plan, we plan to create the life that it is that we want to live. And so within this wealth creation plan, we get rid of the budget. We stop allowing it to tell us what we can and can't do, and we start categorizing and planning within our life what it is that we want to do. And if you are sitting here and you have a wealth creation plan and you're like, well, what it is that I want to do can't be accomplished because there's not enough money, bingo, step number 3, which is increase income. Increasing income is wealth. Increasing income is the opportunity that you have to make everything that it is that you want happen on a day-to-day, month-to-month life basis. What I mean by that is if you have an income of $50,000 a year and your expenses are $49,000 a year, it's going to take 50 years for you to save $50,000. You only have $1,000. But what if you increase your income by $15,000? Now it's going to take you 10 years, whatever, right? 5 years, less than 5 years, depending on what you do with your money. Increasing income is our ability to fast track and create the freedom, the growth, the life, the abundance that it is that we want to live. Having a plan and going through this reset and knowing your income and creating a wealth creation plan frees your mind. And it frees your mind so much from the perspective that now you can manage your finances with like 5% of your energy. I remember when I didn't have money, everything was controlled by money. Everything. And I just had I was just stressed all the time. But when you create a plan and you know your money, you know your plan, you know where your money's going, you know what it's doing, and you can operate based off that knowing, now you can take all of the other knowledge and information and everything that you've got going on and be like, how can I increase income? Because my wife and I realized really quickly that we're like, we can sit here and figure out how to cut expenses, which is smart. You need to be disciplined and very specific with your money. But if you are only focused on cutting and removing expenses, what happens when inflation increases? Your rent, your taxes, you need a new car, whatever it is, and you cut $300 out of your expenses, and the next year something happens, and now you're spending $350 a month. You're like, well, Well, now we're $50,000 in the hole. Well, what if I could increase my income by $500 a month? I just solved all of the problems and increased the amount I collect. So now I can do more stuff. So let's take the energy and increase income. Also, by having a plan, you're going to increase income anyway, because you're going to start being smarter with your money and putting it in areas and places that compounds with interest. You know, maybe you find somewhere that gets you a guaranteed 4 to 5% every year for the rest of your life. Maybe you start investing in real estate and you gain huge growth and equity. Maybe you start a business and that business takes your income and 3x what you're doing now, or 10x, or there's an endless opportunity on what you can do with it. But knowing and being disciplined with your money and then taking everything extra and increasing your income is, I believe, that is our opportunity to create wealth. That is our opportunity to create financial freedom. And now you're not owned by anybody. It doesn't matter what inflation does. It doesn't matter what taxes. But I'll tell you this, when you are in a good position and you know your income and you're on top of your finances, it puts you in a position to go to your school board, to go to your city, to go to your county, to go to your state, to go to your government and be like, we don't agree with this. We're sick and tired of 20% tax. We're sick and tired of these being increased. And the government would be like, well, sorry, we're doing it anyway. Well, fine, then we're going to be done doing X, Y, and Z. See, the reason why the government has so much power right now is because 200 plus million people are dependent on Social Security and government subsidized programs. Well, guys, that's more than half of our population. So with more than half of the population, it is, I'm going to kind of voice pause. Camera's not working. It overheated. So, but we're making some badass audio right now. Okay. I said on the audio, I was like, guys, we got some lemons right now, and I'm going to stir that lemonade. So this system is going to help you get to know your income, create a plan, and increase income. So now you're in charge, so that now you are in control of what's happening. All right. So we are rolling with that. I forgot to write down the number there, but we're going to write it down here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been educated, and so I have found some questions online. I want to see what is going on online. What are the questions people are asking? What are the problems, the concerns, the questions, everything. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to go into some questions, and we're going to have a conversation about these questions and see if we can't add some value and make us all better, because I've learned a lot by doing this, and I really enjoy it. All right, here's a question from online talking about high interest debt is killing my motivation. Every time I look at my statements, most of the payments go straight to interest. That is the beast of interest, especially right at the start. I'm going to use like a home loan as an example. If you guys have ever looked at a 30-year home loan, so much of your payment is going to interest than it is principal at the start, which is frustrating. They say, I'm currently on top of everything, but I feel like I'm paying forever at this rate. I feel like this is a very common question. There's a few comments on this comment online. I feel like this is a common question, and something that I want to share something that a banker friend of mine shared with me probably over 5 years ago that really has helped me manage my debt and help pay things off quicker. One thing that's hard to understand is interest and how interest works. Well, I didn't know with a simple interest loan, which come to find out most mortgages, credit cards, car loans, personal loans, most of our day-to-day loans that everybody has is a simple interest loan. And every time we make a payment, it recalibrates how much is going to interest and how much is going to principal. Let me give you an example. Let's say somebody has a car loan and it's $1,000 a month. And let's say the first payment, $600 goes to interest, $400 goes to principal. And then the next time they make a payment, $599 goes to interest and $399 goes to principal. Or no, the other way. Anyway, let's say $1 more every time you make a payment. Hypothetically, that's not how it works. Well, my bank friend explained this to me. He's like, hey, it's going to increase. A little bit more is going to go to principal every time you make a payment. So how you speed this up and pay things off quicker is make more payments. And he's like, I'm not talking about making extra payments. I'm talking about if you have $1,000 payment, pay $500 on the 15th and pay another $500 on the 25th. You're making the same payment, exactly the same payment, but now you are making, let's say in a year, you're making 24 payments instead of 12. So now you are recalibrating your interest 12 times more than the strategy before. And so my wife and I had bought a truck, and I went and I should have kept track for the sake of data to kind of share with you guys, but we paid it off way quicker. We had a truck payment. I split it into 2 payments, and then I added a little extra to the payment. I don't know if I'd recommend that. I'm going to share something else that I would do. But we did this, so we were making 2 payments every single month on our truck, and I can't believe, like, every time I'd look at it, I'm like, holy crap, like, that is way faster that we're paying. And we'd look at the statement showing how much was being applied and stuff, and it blew my mind. The next thing is I now don't apply extra to payments. I've got a system right now where I send extra. So we have a horse trailer and a Jeep, my wife's vehicle, and it's with a different bank account than our personal one because we wanted to start building some history with another bank account that we use for our ranching business. So I financed these 2 vehicles with that bank for history and start developing a relationship with them. And so I have an automatic transfer that goes from my bank account to that bank account. And I figured out how much it was, and I think I send an extra $50 every single month. And if we ever have a tight month or a tight something, or we're like, hey, let's do another project or whatever, I'll literally look at that bank account, and there's been multiple times where I have enough money in that account that I don't have to make a payment one month. And so I'll keep all that money in my personal account. So it gives me some flexibility, and it has options. The next thing is I like keeping all of my money now. And instead of getting into a habit of sending extra money to the banks, I've created a habit of sending extra money to myself. What I mean by that is I increase the amount of money that I pay myself. And that is my wealth creation plan. And so I'm like, okay, I want to get this debt paid off. I send all extra money to that wealth creation account. And then I have a rule: every time I get 10 grand, I pull 5 and put down on the principal. And so I'll literally send it, call the bank, and be like, hey, there's this much money in here. Can I make another payment towards the principal? And they're like, yeah, we'll apply it right now. And I'll literally do it with them on the phone so I can see it happen. I enjoy that. I like that because I've now built a habit of putting money into my system and not sending money to somebody else. That to me is change of focus. That to me is a focus of, instead of focusing on debt, I'm focusing on creating wealth. And I'm using my wealth to remove the things that are keeping me from it. All right? So this question in here, high interest debt, I would break up your payments. I would, if you're paying, $500 a month on a car, pay $250 twice. So on the 15th, on the 25th, whatever your system is, you're paying this exact same amount, but now you're recalibrating interest. And then I would take all extra. One thing that I do not think is a good idea, if you have 5 different debts, don't send 30 here and 30 here and 30 here and 30 here and 30 here. If you're like, hey, I'm going to pay an extra $200 a month, take that $200 a month, put into your wealth creation plan. When it gets to a dollar amount that you like, pull it out and go pay off a debt, or put towards one debt. Pay one off at a time. Diversification is insurance for ignorance. I truly believe in that statement. Only the people that diversify are people that don't have knowledge, don't have an understanding. And so when you diversify, you're paying interest towards a lot of things. Take your money and focus on one. If you've got 4 credit cards and a car payment and personal loan and student loans, I'd pick the lowest balance and attack that sucker like your life depends on it. Pay it off. Take all the money you were putting towards that one, start piling all of it into one account, your wealth creation account, and then pay to the next one. And then when that one's paid off, take all of that money, compile together, boom, again and again and again and again. So that advice helped me a ton. We do it now on everything. God, there were so many questions. Let me find another one that I really liked. Here's an interesting question. Can we afford to start our family? My wife, 23, and I, 24, are thinking about starting our family in the next year, but we want to make sure we are financially ready. You guys, that question hit me because I was scared to freaking death. I was scared to death. When my wife and I were first having our first child. I have always been an aggressive saver. At 12, I started babysitting, house sitting, and walking dogs. I saved pretty much all that I made, and by the time I turned 18, I had $10K in savings. Good for you. All invested. In the middle of my senior year, when school went online because of COVID, I started working full-time at a grocery store. Frick yeah. I've been working full-time for the same company ever since. I am now a member of store leadership, making about $75,000 per year. Dude, congratulations. I met my wife a little over 4 years ago. She worked at the same grocery store as I do. Ooh, a little backroom love. We were both 19, both assistant department managers. We each lived with family when we met, and both had been aggressively saving money. I actually worked a second job for about a year to save even more. A year into dating, we moved into a small apartment and started saving together. 2.5 years ago, we bought our house. She quit working 2 years back to focus on school, and I have been the only income since. She finishes her degree in early childhood education this summer, but we would like for her to stay home with the baby until they enter school. Eventually, she would like to work part-time in the school system and have a schedule that aligns with our kids' school. We really don't want to depend on her income if possible, so that her priority can be being a mom. I love that you guys have talked about this and have a plan. As far as savings net worth, we currently have $25,000 emergency fund and well over $80K in retirement and $100,000 in home equity. Our car is paid off. My wife paid her way through school through the community college system, savings scholarships. The only debt we have is our house. All of this puts us in a very fortunate financial situation, and I know many people have kids with much less. Our only concern is that we are definitely house poor, at least on paper. Our mortgage, including taxes and insurance, is close to $2,200. Plus health insurance, vision, dental for both of us is $400 a month. And about $10K of our annual income comes from bonuses, so not 100% guaranteed. I do get annual raises, and I am considered high potential, on track for future promotions with my company. We have never missed any bills or had to dip into savings to make ends meet. Even though it's objectively a bit tight month to month, we don't really feel it currently. That being said, we can't afford to eat out or spend much on consumables. My wife loves cooking and is great at it, especially on a budget, so not a huge deal, but perhaps relevant. We also have 2 vacations planned for this year. One is to Europe, and we want to make the most of the rest of our time just being the 2 of us. We considered our big trip to Europe a chance to reset before we decide if we really want to start trying for a baby. The plane tickets for the trip are already purchased. We are staying with a friend. They've got all that planned out. Is adding a baby to the mix a big mistake? No. A baby is the best thing you could ever do. I love my career. I love my business. I love doing this. I love all of this, and I'm insanely passionate about it. I want to have a crazy successful career. But I would never, ever, 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 ever give up the opportunity to be a father. I would never. And the thing with it is because they are your children, you will always figure out a way to have everything that you need to have. I mean, it's awesome that you make $75,000 a year. Maybe you should look at a different career. You know, maybe you're capped out at the grocery store. I know it's been great, but what if, because of the things you've learned, what if there's another company out there that would pay you $120,000 a year with your skill set? I know you want to be loyal, and I get that, but at the end of the day, who are we living for? What are we trying to accomplish? And If the vehicle you're in right now isn't going to get you where you want to get to, sell the freaking vehicle, get rid of the vehicle. So if your career is not accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish, you guys have been very, very disciplined in your system, and you're very clear that you want your wife to stay home to be a mother, then figure out what it is to make that happen. You've got a great savings, you've got a great retirement, you've got great home equity. You've done very well, especially for your ages. Freaking incredible for your ages. But what's most important? I know for me, I was scared to death. I was scared to death to have a child, but it made me better. It made me earn more money. I actually heard on a video, the guy was saying, he's like, if you want to make more money, have children. Get married and have children. It will force you and inspire you to make more money than you ever thought possible because you want to give them the world. I would never be scared to have to start a family, and I would never let money dictate that. Because at the end of the day, you will never take your money with you, ever. We do not take our money with us when we leave this life, but our memories, our relationships, our experiences, and our knowledge, we can take that with us. We can 100% take that with us when we pass from this life. I believe so. It's a great question. For 23, 24, you guys are killing it. Continue on. I'm looking for advice because when I was young, I had to let a car go that I had a loan for. Fast forward 8 to 9 years, they're garnishing my wages for 50%, making it hard to keep afloat. I'm looking for advice because when I was young, I had to let a car go. Not blaming them, just acknowledging I owe about $7,000 left. Would that be enough to file bankruptcy? Would it help? Frick no. Why would you put yourself in a hard financial position for 7 years? If I remember right, and if I'm understanding correctly, bankruptcy stays on your record for 7 years. I'm not a bankruptcy expert, but that's everything that I've read or learned or heard or talked about. Why would you do that? Why not figure out a side hustle? Why not freaking stop contributing to your retirement account? Whatever your financial situation is. Get that $7,000 paid off and then continue on and increase your income in your life from there. I would get very disciplined with your income. I would get very disciplined with your system. And then I would get that sucker paid off and increase income and live a better life. But I would not let $7,000. I mean, it's going to cost you money to file bankruptcy and stuff. So put that money to the debt and just get it paid off. Oh, man. What's the highest paying job I can get with an associate's degree or certification? Please don't say nursing or IT. Been wondering about radiologic tech, though. I currently live in Massachusetts in the greater Boston area, by the way. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? That's where I'd start. I wouldn't let your associate's degree or certificate decide anything for you. I barely have a high school diploma. I didn't let that hold me back at all. I think I'll be 100% honest. I think for 90% of America, a college degree or certificate is the biggest waste of time and money you could ever spend time and money on. Unless your dream career, desire, passion requires it or recommends it, biggest waste of time. There are so many freaking things you can do in this life, especially today, where you could earn way more than doctors, way more than lawyers, way more than anything. I mean, freaking plumbers and electricians make more money than a lot of doctors and nurses and all them. People have shit on, that's funny. Plumbers forever, their income is very well. Very well. So what is it that you want to do? That's where I would start. What is your passion, desire, dreams, and goals? That's what I would focus on and do that. Here's an interesting one. The job market has beaten me down. I'm barely in my early 20s, college graduated with a history of work experience. 1 technical internship, 10 months at a call center, 7 months of retail, and about a year of warehouse work. I graduated debt-free but wasn't able to enter any field. I've gotten 0 interviews for anything above $20 an hour, dead-end jobs for the last 2 to 3 years, no matter how much I spruce up my resume. I just don't understand. Society doesn't need workers anymore. We call many jobs essential, yet don't provide pathways to enter these jobs without prior experience. I'm eager to work hard. I'm eager to work whatever hours to provide, create value, to learn and grow, to be a productive member of society, but that's a pipe dream now. Nope, it's not. I did everything I was told to do. That's why. That is why. You did everything you were told to do. You are now a part of a system, and the system has control. The system tells you what you can earn. The system tells you where you can work. The system tells you how much you can collect. The system tells you when you can take a vacation. The system. I now am just being insulted for being born late. Sorry, my parents didn't have sex earlier, man. I have to prepare for the end times. Honestly, stockpile up and non-perishable food, find a place outside the store to store them, as I'd have no house, prepare to live outside of civilization when society collapses in the next decade. It's sad. Well, why are you stuck there? How I wish I was born 40 years earlier. Dude, I'm never bringing kids into the current and future state of the world when this is what awaits them. Wow. All you can do is keep applying, connecting with peers, formal professors, attend career fairs, and such. Sadly, it's just a numbers game. You'll get it. Try being 40 or more and getting a decent job. You guys, there's so much freaking negativity on here. This is insane. I would tell everybody there has never been a better opportunity in the history of the world to create whatever it is that you want to live. Now, yes, if you are looking for the system that was available 40 years ago, it is gone. Go to school, get good grades, get a degree, get a job, stay there for 30, 40 years is gone. It just doesn't exist anymore. There's no pensions. There's no corporate ladders. There's none of it. It's all being replaced by AI. It's all being replaced by individual companies and opportunities. And you guys, the world is changing. The world is changing. The world is not what it is that we thought it was. You're in your early 20s. You need to everything that you think you know, forget all of it and start fresh. Everything that we think we know, forget all of it and start fresh. What are the things you haven't considered? What are the things you haven't thought of? Where are the cracks that you haven't looked at? What are the technical internship, the call center? What are some skills? What are some things that you've learned that are problems for other companies? Go start solving those problems. You don't have to start your own business. Go find the businesses that are doing those things and go work for them. How are you using social media? You know, I know you posted this online, but are you finding places in your local area? Did it say where you're from? I don't think so. Find hiring places in your local area. Make a video, turn a video on and say, hey, these are the experiences I've had. This is what I've been doing. I'm looking for an opportunity. This is what I love to do. I'm looking to make this much money. I'm willing to put in the work. I want to put in the work. I want to grow. I want to develop. And take off with it. But you guys, the world that we knew 20, 30, 40 years ago, the way that our parents survived, I'm 31. The way our parents survived is not today's world. Not even close. We got to stop holding on to what used to be and start looking for what's coming, what's happening, what's growing. Ooh, here's a good question. Find the holes in my plan. Opening a dance wear store is a very high income area with foot traffic. Opening a dance wear store? Rent is high, $5,800 a month, triple net terms, trying to negotiate owner. Looking to hire 1 to 3 dependent sales season, local dancers in high school. Looking to hire a couple more experienced dance shoe fitters to train the more junior staff instead of paying them to be trained. Inventory will cost around $50K. Store would be a preferred retailer with a major dance school in the area. Build out would be minimal as the storefront is an exceptional. I don't know. Can't ask her that one. Can't answer the one. I think I spend so much on electronic devices even though I earn so little. I think it's an addiction. I earned around $800 per month. That is very low. Electronic devices cost 2 times compared to US prices here. So far I bought this stuff over 2 years. PS5 around $500, but you sold it. Philips TV $1,400 when I bought it, sold it because I hated it. Switch $340. LG TV $2,900, PS5 Pro $1,300, PSVR 2 around $947, iPhone 17 Pro Max $3,219. Holy cow! AirPods $340, MacBook Pro $25. I don't mention expensive jacket. I just bought $310 and all the accessories, cases, chargers, gamepads for PS5, Switch games. I am in no way rich. Okay, are you a gamer? Are you making money with gaming? I use my credit cards. I just don't have rent bill. I use my credit cards. I just don't have rent bills to pay anything. And I have 2 times salary every 6 months. I feel like I need to stop spending and start saving, but I feel like I need to buy more stuff like Apple Watch, Switch 2, building gaming PC, and iPad. Every time I say that will be my last, I want another thing, and the worst of it all, probably by the time I finish getting everything I want, I will have to upgrade everything I have and start over. Is there any way to stop this? Are we being real? You just stop. Like, just stop. I don't know, maybe it's an addiction. I mean, some people have a hard time quitting food. I get it. What is your plan? What is it that you're really trying to accomplish? What is your plan? What is your system? Why are you buying these things? What do you want to do with them? Are you making money from them? Is it your true goal, dreams, desires? Because if that is your passion and your love, freaking go for it. But if it's not, then quit spending money on it. Like, what is it that you truly want? What is it that you want out of your life? What is it you want out of your money? What is it you want out of your finances? I'm definitely not going to sit here and say you shouldn't buy those things or do those things. But you should be smart. You should have a plan. So if you're like, hey, I love technology, all right, I'm going to set $100 a month aside for technology. And if the next thing I want is $400, it's going to take me 4 months to buy that thing. Like, put into your financial plan what it is that you want and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's what I would go with. That's what I would plan for. All right, you guys, that is the questions for today online. You guys, be smart, get disciplined, and own yourself. Be the master of yourself. Stop letting life just deliver what life delivers. Take control and make the things you want to happen, happen. Have a good day.